live every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. 10?
Yeah, 10-ish.
10 Mountain Time, and we take junk that we got for free or almost free or stuff that would be otherwise thrown out and turn it into home decor that we sell or use at our house. And today we have cardboard
Crafting.
And these look really fancy, but these are like foam molded frames. So think fake, like look at the back.
Here, I'll show you this one. You can see it good how the sun has affected it. And there was one that had a little bit of a corner broken off somewhere, but it's foam.
Yeah, it's foam. It's older, so like vintage foam. And
Yeah.
it's what our big frame that we did that Tremo mirror out of was made of. We got these for free. My friend gave them to us because she hadn't done anything with them. So I thought it'd be fun to show you.
They're really cool.
It would be fun to show you a good paint job and then do some decoupaging. So I'm going to pull up comments here. Oops, my hair is attached to my watch.
So we're going to use the JRV decoupage paper to make some art. And little commercial, you can pick all the supplies up at jamirayvintage.com if you want to do your own version of this.
We'll probably have to remind people later too. Is that now that we got from the shop, right?
Yeah.
So okay, perfect. I've been wanting to use this sheet paper for a while, but the only sheet paper we had was the one that had like the seconds.
It was the sample.
The sample seconds. Anyways, Ivy is on here today. She's going to be dropping links and helping answer your questions while we're live. Caitlin's at the dentist, so thanks Ivy for helping out. And just to let you guys know, very, very exciting, all of the new IOD products, if you pre-ordered, are going to be shipping out this week. And if you didn't pre-order, we still have some in stock and they are no longer on pre-order. We got an entire porch full of boxes of IOD this last week.
It took me like half an hour just to haul it in, like
Yeah.
individual boxes.
So check that out at jamirayvintage.com. We've got the new transfers and the new stamps that just came out, and we are shipping them now. So they're no longer on pre-order. I think Caitlin switched it from saying pre-order. If she didn't, and it says pre-order, just know that the IOD is not. So super excited. Oh, and one more commercial notice. You spend over $35 at jamirayvintage.com. It's free shipping unless you have DIY paint, and then it's not because we're not allowed to do free shipping on that. Okay, commercial's over, let's get going. All right, what are we doing here?
So I had a pencil. Did you see my menus of pen?
Leon said, do you feel like it's hard to stick to one vibe or style when you're decorating your home? I feel like I have all kinds of random things that don't match. Yes and no. I feel like I'm kind of farmhouse, but I'm also European cottage. And I like different things. So what I like to do is if I have a lot of different styles, I like to connect them with color and texture. Or if I have lots of different color and texture, then I like to bake them together with style. So one or the other works really well. And then sometimes I'll have like a certain vibe in certain rooms. So like the sitting area over here that's off the kitchen is a little bit more formal and bougie, kind of fancy with rustic charm. And then the family room is more like farmhousey, primitive, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about bougie.
I don't know about bougie, but like we have those candelabras. To me, that's bougie. So whatever.
Yeah.
We have an antique French clock, also bougie. But anyways, if you want to mix things up, sometimes you just like group them together in different spaces. And then, like I said, if you've got different styles, maybe pull together colors that work together. Because the look these days is less all one style and more of a curated look. So as long as it's balanced and doesn't make your eye twitch, I feel like you can make it work.
You guys almost saw me have a boo-boo. I had this pushed over to the very edge of the cardboard, and I need to have enough overlap so that I can staple it onto the back. So now I've got a safety zone. I just did 2 squares so I can see.
I feel like we need to staple and glue it.
I might.
We have the construction adhesive. I feel like the combination, like the staple, will hold it till the construction adhesive dries.
So if you can't see what I've been doing, I just traced that there. You can see the overlap that I did. I just moved the frame a little bit.
Did Jean approve of you using this box?
So these, oh, I don't know. This was buried and had a bunch of other boxes.
I know, this is a good box. This is what we used to ship like big beers and stuff. So if Jean's watching, which she probably isn't because she's at work.
Sorry, Jean.
If you find something big, Zeb will package it. Thanks, Marlene. Marlene's on here. She is my friend that gave me these cute frames. She's also who gave me my fireplace insert and the chippy hutch that's in my family room. If you guys have seen my big green chippy hutch that I love, that's in there. She's got great stuff. Her junk is really good.
All right, so I'm just using a kitchen knife to kind of get this started so I didn't have to mush down.
Jane says that is what you ship me items in. Oh, I gotta get going. Okay, while he's doing that, I'm gonna be working on the frame. Did we get paintbrushes out?
There's one brush
Okay.
over there, I think. Over yonder.
Over yonder.
You know, the knife was working better to cut this.
Did you just turn to 95?
I've been working on 95 my whole life. I don't know that I'll make it. That's old.
Old 57. You don't know if you're gonna make it to 95? Oh, you're making it.
No.
Unless I go, then feel free to leave whenever. But while I'm here, you have to stay. That's how it works.
I see.
All right, I'm just putting some old 57 randomly on these. This is just an undercoat, so don't worry.
This is just like a kitchen paring knife or something. You can use a razor blade or scissors or whatever, but this box is pretty stout, so the knife is working better than the scissors. Oh, I'm getting off my line.
I gotta make it paint a little bit, so I'll leave that over there.
Sorry if that hurt your ears.
I'll be back to comments in a minute.
Nope.
If you guys haven't checked it out, I know I'm off camera right now, but if you haven't checked it out, go to our latest video when you're done here and watch that one. We just got that up. We take you
It went up
thrifting.
late last night at like 8:45.
Yeah. We take you guys thrifting, and then we also show you some fun new makeovers. The seashell one, probably hands down my favorite. The seashell mirror actually already sold, but a couple of the other items are still up for dibs. I updated the pictures. Those of you that have been here for a while, you know, but newbies don't. We have Jami Ray Vintage, which is where you can get the paint and products, but JRV Home is where you go to find the items that we paint. And so yesterday's items on that video, I think, are still in the thrift haul because we just thrifted those last week. All right.
I was hoping for a little bit of a cleaner cut, but this is going where it's going to be stapled anyway. So hopefully I have good overlap.
And these I will get listed on the home website once they're done.
I'm going to make
Tomorrow
sure.
we'll be live at 10 a.m. again for the Stay-at-Home Shopping
Oh
Network.
yeah. So
I'm
we switched that
hoping-
to the morning.
Yeah,
Don't
we
forget
switched it
about
to the
that.
morning to get our stuff done. We were doing edited videos, it was too crazy, so then we switched to a live in the morning, and that works out really good with our kids' schedules for cheer and football and everything else.
Oh,
Oh, I was gonna paint
it's going to
that.
be tight, but I can get it stapled.
I think construction adhesive is your friend, and then just staple on the corners at a diagonal, just to hold it in place.
So cardboard, we're going to decoupage the cardboard and then put it on here, and then I'm going to staple it on. And you'll get to see all that. Oh, here's the brush that I was talking about. It's under the cardboard.
Carrie says, you guys make things look easy, especially when Jami paints. You know it's not easy? Cleaning up after Jami paints. But I'm generally the cleanup crew too, so we're good. It really isn't hard. What I feel like is it takes practice and learning how the different things work. Sometimes people get frustrated because it's like the first time they've ever tried anything, and then it doesn't look the way they want. I mean, I still have stuff sometimes that doesn't turn out exactly the way I want. It's okay. Practice on junk, and then you don't feel bad if you have to deposit things back to the thrift store from whence they came.
All right, can you guys still see okay? I'm going to move this back so you can see more of what we're actually doing. Not that you need to see me cut cardboard, but you know.
Hey, cutting cardboard is exciting and is necessary for this craft.
So this was a little small, so I'm going to go even wider on this one. Because I've got a lot of room on the actual frames. And if it's too big, it's easier to cut it down a little bit than it is to make the cardboard be bigger. Because I've only got this one box. We were gonna do beadboard or something like that, but I didn't have any beadboard.
We have some wood, but recently our garage door was ran into. Last week was the comedy of errors around here. Anyways, and it's not been fixed, so we can't get it to that side of our garage because the junk is piled high. So, I mean, we could, but it would require a big feet. That's okay. Sometimes you make do. And sometimes people only have cardboard, so it's good to show you guys that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move this forward.
Oh, sorry. It's getting squeaky.
The camping video was fun, and actually we have
Fun
more.
story about that. I didn't know Jamie had footage of me like cooking on the new camp stove that we were trying out, and we got a new tent too because our old one had gotten all moldy. And I didn't know she even had footage of all that. And we're like, hey, we're gonna show you some of the equipment we got. And then I'm like, I don't have that. I don't have pictures of that.
People always think we work well together, but Deb didn't ask if I had it. And I was like, you didn't put any of that stuff in there. So just know that we meant to have more camping footage. Mostly because I don't camp that often. So
But I showed you the mountains. I took pictures of the mountains like crazy.
That's right. The mountains are what's good. It's fine. We'll camp some more maybe. My neck is like totally crinked because I spent the night in Zeb's armpit because we were kind of at a slight decline, and Zeb outweighs me by a decent amount. And
I was on the bottom of the decline.
And he pushes down on the. You know what I was thinking yesterday? Anyway, so I wound up sleeping in his armpit, which sounds romantic, but really is uncomfortable. What if we get 2 twin-size air mattresses that are independent, and then just join them with the mattress pad, so we each have our own mattress, so I'm not rolled into you. So
we just end up like your parents, sleeping on separate beds.
No, with separate beds, but together. So I don't wind up in your armpit all night. I had this thought come to me yesterday as I was trying to solve the problem of the armpit, because people, when they're like, oh, you don't like camping, just get an air mattress. I'm like, have you ever camped with somebody who's a good 80 pounds heavier than you? Like, the air mattresses, no matter how good they are, especially if there's any kind of incline or decline, just, it doesn't work. Okay, I need your help. I give up.
The kitchen screwdriver's not working out for you?
Yeah. Carolyn likes that idea. I'm definitely going to be trying that out.
I'm used to sleeping on rocks, so air mattress was like a new concept for me in a tent. I was like, what?
An air mattress with a mattress pad? What? That's next level.
And you had sheets.
Okay, now, could you do me,
sheets.
can we do a big favor? Can we move the camera over just that way a little bit? I need to have more, like,
I'm gonna move
space.
it over everything this way, and we'll go that way there.
Thank you. I'm gonna move this paint that I'm not using yet to the back. And I'm done with this paint.
Okay, I think you guys will be able to see what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna decoupage cardboard. We're gonna try top coat on this, just to see what it does, because we're always into trying out new things. Typically, the secret sauce for the decoupage is the DIY liquid patina, the crystal clear chandelier.
Crystal clear chandelier.
As it's called.
Well, they have been out at DIY headquarters, and we have some still to ship in stock, but not a lot, and we didn't dare take away from our shop inventory. So we're like, hey, we'll try top coat. We know that it's not the best, but also still works as an option. So. Okay,
so the paper ends right here is where the end of the cardboard is. So I'm just deciding, do I want to center it? Do I want to off-center it? You got about 30 seconds to comment below, centered or off-centered.
Center.
Oh, and Jamie says centered.
They don't need a comment.
But then you're just going to get like the head of the sheep and the pig.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think that still works.
That works.
Because off-centered, that's too big. It would throw off the balance of the entire piece.
Okay. I'm
going to need to pour this in something because I'm kind of blending a little bit with my base coat.
All right. And I need something to pour that in. Okay. Oh, you got a cup and I'm going to get a cup.
What? Sorry, I should have grabbed your one.
It's okay.
I'm slacking.
We need to go get more of those containers that we had because we ran through all our dollar store mixing containers.
Yeah, I do save spaghetti jars, but...
So this looks white when you get it, and it's going to dry clear. Everyone is always concerned their first time using it. They're like, hey, it's white.
I'm just painting this old 57 part also with white swan to get a blended kind of full coverage look. This is just a base coat, so it doesn't really matter, but some areas will be pretty dark. Well, it looks like there's some weird edges almost. I guess it'll be all right.
This cardboard is sucking this up, so I might have to do like a coat and then come back over.
Yeah, so top coat will work effectively. It just dries faster. That's why patina is good. And we live in a very dry state, so the dry time is important. This one was completely raw, so it's going to take a little bit more paint than the other frame. Yeah.
Is the foam absorbing the paint?
No, but
or
it's
just
got
trying
more
to get
surface area.
coverage?
Yeah, like the other one is mostly white, so I'll just kind of slap it around. But this I want to get most of the brown covered up.
Okay, I got it on there. Kind of just went quick. Now I'm going to smooth it out. Shouldn't matter too much with the paper. Okay. Now to see if I can drop this center on here.
Oh, you just dropped it nothing.
It is pretty sticky. So that's a good thing. Oh, it's done. It's not moving.
We need to try the iron method, but first we'd have to.
We lost our iron. We're like, because we steam. We have a steamer.
We just don't use it at the house, and we can't find it. Oh, I guess we did lose it, but it's at the shop because we don't iron stuff.
So we have a steamer that we use.
Kind of.
You know, I should have painted this white, this cardboard white first.
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna come through. I'll try it on the sheep. I'll do that.
Paint it white.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. It'll just have like kind of a
brownish undertone.
To it.
Yep.
It's fine.
Because the paper's thin enough that it's gonna kind of take on whatever tone you have underneath.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I think it's just gonna make it look like old, almost like a parchment.
Yeah. I should have told you that.
I was so I knew it, and then as soon as I laid this down, I'm like, I should have painted
Too late
that.
now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to show people like this is what it is this way, and this was what it is this way.
So the iron-on method gets you pretty wrinkle-free if you do it properly. You can get most of your wrinkles out. I kind of like it when it gets wrinkly. I think it makes it look authentically old and gives it some natural age when it's got a little bit of wrinkle running through it.
I like it. I like it that way, but I just like to show people different ways because not everybody embraces the wrinkles of decoupage the way that we do. Your arm's gonna get painted, sorry.
It's okay. Wouldn't be my first time.
As soon as I get this one painted, I'll move it over and I'll get that other one then.
So, in news around the house, last week we also had to take Odelia's Jeep to the garage, and you know, a hefty garage bill later, it's running, but it still has electrical issues, and she's a brand new driver, and while she mostly will be close, she's not going to really be taking her vehicle on long trips as a brand new driver. She'll be around town. I don't necessarily have time to go chasing her down every time the car won't start or the key
Not just necessarily, we don't
has a malfunction or whatever it is. So we went car shopping again. So I got to sell the Jeep now because we found something new for her.
Out of pretty much half of what we have into it, which sucks, but I guess that's just life.
Yeah.
But we did find a good, reliable sedan that we're super excited about. So we're gonna grab that today when we're done here. And the garage door is supposed to be looked at today for getting fixed. So
we're gonna get an estimate to see if we have to replace all the panels or if we can just get away with replacing the 2 panels below that are caved in.
So pray for us. Also pray that the new car we're buying is a better option. We're spending a little bit more money to get a little nicer car, which I thought we were spending more money on the last one. It wasn't working. We'll probably wind up taking the Jeep back to because it had a recall part, so we had to take it to the dealership to get the recall part fixed, and then they were like, oh, you need to do this and this. And then they wanted like $1,000, and we've already spent about $1,200 or so on it. Actually more than that, probably $1,400. But anyways, they want to.
Don't think about it.
No, I can't think about it.
You
they
know what?
wanted to redo the entire computer, and I was like, it's not worth that. So we're gonna take it back to Rogers because that's our
Rogers
favorite.
is our local mechanic shop. I would just have my brother do it, but he's swamped. He's busy.
So we're gonna take it back to Rogers just to make sure that before we sell it, that it is good, and that way we can give really good information to whoever buys it.
So I was worried about cutting these edges off. I think I'm gonna do that after I staple it down. I'll just run the knife down the edge once it's stapled. But here we go. We got the pig kind of half hanging out, the sheep kind of half hanging out. And as soon as Jamie gets a frame done, I'm gonna set this over to the side. I might go put it in the sun. You think that'll dry it too fast and make it all crinkly?
No,
I'm gonna go set it outside in the sun so it dries quick and you guys don't have to hear the heat gun more in the live
Well,
stream.
I prefer that to dry naturally than to use the heat gun anyways. I feel
Well,
like
that
it
sun's
burns
gonna
better.
dry it quick. It's like 85 out there.
Alright. Yeah, we can finish up these frames. Well, actually, you need to do the other one.
Yep, I'm gonna do the other one real quick and then
Okay.
we can change it.
Anyways. So, car situations, we got TV. We still have the broken TV staring at us in the family room. Got to get that taken to the dump because there's no fixing that. Harrington actually works for a garbage company, so we might have him take it in the back of his truck to that. If not, then we've got some branches and things that we've got to take to the mulching department at the city dump, so maybe we'll drop it off then. Tomorrow or today, we're going to start filming our video for Friday. I'm excited about that. We're going to be painting that mid-century nightstand never sold. So we're going to take it off the website and give it a French country makeover. Woot woot! All right, so there we go. That's my blended frame. It actually looks pretty cool the way that it is, even just like that. So can you put this over just a second?
Yep. You want me to put it out in the
Nope,
sun?
I'm just rotating these.
Okay. I like the blue that you got on that. It's like a nice light, fun color, but still got a little brightness to it. All right, where did I put that other paper? Aha!
Those frames are too nice for the pictures. They're foam. This says they need oil paintings, but
Oil paintings.
we aren't really oil painters. They'll be nice.
Who's got oil paintings laying around?
I don't know.
If you do, let me know. Maybe we can make a deal.
I have decoupaged framed art in my bathroom, and it looks amazing. It's all in execution. I wish I knew how they made these frames, because it seems like this would be an economical with the price of wood today.
So it's foam injection.
Oh.
You just have like a mold that's got holes in the side of it where you put the injector.
The injector situation.
And they inject it up in there and then demold it.
Sounds like how they make filled donuts. See where my mind's going today? Filled donuts, injected frames.
Same.
If I'm staying off sugar, I'm kind of helping him, but not really. I'm not eating sugar during the week, but yesterday I had a donut. I felt like I needed it. I was supposed, like, I can't eat in my mind, because I'm making my own rules. I can't eat sugar on the weekends, but I did really eat sugar last weekend, so I had my donut yesterday.
Okay.
And it was delicious.
So this one here. I think I'm gonna go offset a little bit. It's almost like a transfer once you get that medium down there.
Deb, you gotta paint that one.
Oh yeah.
Denise reminded you. Thank you, Denise.
I was just gonna go for a similar look on both.
Well, I'm gonna need you to paint.
Right?
Hold on. Speaking of paint, I got paint on my phone. Not the first or last time.
Okay, let me go grab another brush.
Looks like somebody just bought the seashell mold. We ordered extra of those seashell molds from yesterday's video because I knew after people saw that it was going to be popular.
It turned out, we're a long way from the ocean, right? But every now and then you gotta go beachy, you gotta go nautical.
Well, I think it was neutral enough that you could totally just do it like for summer. I'm always thinking like, what can you decorate summer that's not like cheesy? And I think beach is good for summer. So even if you had a farmhouse look, those colors would definitely blend. That's what I mean about like, if you can blend styles, just have to have something cohesive. So in that case, my house isn't really nautical, but it's sold, so I can't put it in my house. But I could have put it in my house because the colors match the colors I have going on, even if the vibe is a little bit different. Don't let anybody tell you that you can or can't do something in your design. Your home should be comfortable.
Just how you want it.
That's right.
If it's not how you want it and you're designing for someone else, inevitably what I find is you end up switching it out a lot because you're never happy with it.
Or you just switch it out a lot because you like to decorate, which is basically my life.
Because it's springtime or summertime.
This makes the most, Old 57 and White Swan just make the most beautiful aqua color. All right. These are good. Okay, where's the heat gun? Did you grab that? I couldn't find it earlier.
It's got to be in there.
Did you have it in the garage?
If not, it might be in the garage, but...
Would you have used it there?
I haven't used it in the garage. It would have just been put away with all the drop cloths.
Okay,
I mean, I can go check in a second because I have an idea of where it would be if it is in the garage, but you're over there right now, so I can't go check. Okay, I'm gonna go set this out in the sun. We're gonna go find the heat gun these. I don't know, the foam usually handles the heat gun all right. We usually don't have a problem, but we might have to be careful.
Oh, I missed the inside of that one lid. I grabbed you the glue.
Are you white waxing these too, or?
These are gonna get milk paint. So while
Okay.
you're gone,
I'll be right back.
I'm gonna mix up some milk paint. So then I'll be still doing something important. All right, so I'm gonna use the same cup because almost all the paint's gone. Let me grab some warm water. And I apologize for the constant sniffles. I do know about local honey and I do know about Claritin, but I'm unlikely to use either because I always forget until my nose starts running and I'm like, oh yeah, I have seasonal allergies. All right, so I'm just using the Sweet Pickins milk paint in flour sack in my cup, old spaghetti jar that I've used to mix paint in the past. You can use an immersion blender to get a really creamy mix, but I'm not really worried if it's perfect, so I'm just using a fork. And when I'm mixing up a small amount of milk paint, I feel like it's easier to get a smoother, creamy consistency than a large amount. So if I'm mixing up a lot of milk paint, I'll usually bring out the immersion blender or use a blender ball in a bottle. But in this case, I'm just mixing up enough for these frames. And I kind of mixed it up a little bit thick, so let me add some more water. So this is flour sack, is the color that I'm using.
All right, I found it. It was in the garage.
Okay, I was like, it's gotta be in here somewhere. After I mix up my milk paint, I like to let it sit if I can for a little bit. So it's good that I mix this up before I heat gun because that'll allow it to smooth out and thicken up and all the things. I just want to make sure I get all the chunks from the bottom because I feel like if you wait till later, they're harder to get. So that's going to sit there, and I'm going to be heat gunning while Zeb is doing whatever Zeb does. Oh, you needed to paint that white?
I already did it. It's out in the sun.
Oh. All right, well, read some comments here.
I will read some comments.
Here you go. Would you put this in the sink in some water for me?
Kai wants to know if we're going to showcase the camping gear. We can. Some of it really worked well. We liked it a lot.
I'm going to order more so we have some to sell, and then we'll put it in a Thursday video. It gets here really quick because the company is based out of Salt Lake that sells it, so it doesn't take long. So we'll order our favorites and we'll show those off. Probably not a ton. I don't know how many of you guys camp. But I wanted to get it ordered and in time to ship them to you guys before Father's Day and before really the summer camping season gets going.
Both are coming. So Crescent Moon Cottage asks, I want to use milk paint on metal, not shiny, bond or no?
Yes.
So I would,
try Bond.
Donna, I would use bond on that. Just because if it's shiny, it's gonna want to just zip right off anyway. And the
You wanna
bond will
test it,
really
yeah.
help it adhere. Yeah, do a little test section and see what it does, and if it all flakes off, throw the bond in there because you can add the bond after the milk paint's mixed up.
Do you have some top coat left over?
So Kaya Grant, so if you're just joining, I've been decoupaging cardboard that we're gonna put in these frames, and I'm not sure where they'll live. They'll probably be for sale.
They're gonna be for sale. I don't think I
But
have a spot.
we've got the grain sack JRV paper and then this sheet paper that we're doing. And I've got them outside drying. I'm gonna bring them back in just a minute once Jamie's done here.
Well, we could have heat gunned the cardboard for this sheet one.
Deanna, I have not seen your email about the French couple. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to go look for that. Carrie, so these drop cloths, we get them from Home Depot. They're the heavy duty, the ones we use, and we don't usually have issues with stuff coming through. Sometimes we'll double them up if we're gonna be doing like a lot of stenciling and offloading, because we just offload onto the drop cloth, and occasionally something gets through on these.
Oh, it happens all the time.
But we can just wipe it off. It just wipes off of our countertop when we're using the DIY paints. If you're worried about it, I would do the heavy duty drop cloths and double up on them.
I would
You're
actually,
not even on camera.
Sorry, I'm just heat gunning. So what I would use is they make drop cloths that are lined with plastic on the back. Those are the best. They sell them at Home Depot. So plastic lined drop cloth, that's really gonna give you the best protection. But for like Zeb said, we just washed this off. I actually just cleaned this countertop this morning. I woke up early because it looked like a frat party had exploded in our main living area because 8 people live in our house. And I just scrubbed it really good. All the paint came off because we oil waxed our counters, so paint doesn't really adhere. And as long as we get right to it and wash it off, it will come off.
So, Anna Warren said, Farmhouse Finishes milk paint is awesome, doesn't need bond, and so creamy, love it. Yeah, the Farmhouse Finishes is made by Sweet Pickens Milk Paint, and it already has the bond in it. We also carry that on the website.
Yeah, at
so
JamiRayVintage.com.
Yeah, you can get that there as well. If you don't want to mess around with bonded, but you still want to use milk paint, just get that, because that's what we used on our floors, and we didn't, I mean, we have a couple little spots that are chipping, but that's because the floor doesn't, it's from 1917 and it doesn't have any underlayment underneath it, and it moves when you walk on it, and so it's chipped where it moves.
You want to go bring in that cardboard, Zeb? I can heat gun it if it's not quite dry.
Did you ask me to put a brush in water?
Yeah, I did. That wasn't your thing.
That's all right. I can get it. Our brush care is pretty sad most of the time. These brushes are pretty tough. I'm gonna go check my boards.
Basically what Zeb's saying is we're not poster children for brush care. And you shouldn't leave them in water for a long time either. It's not good for them. If you want your brushes to last for a really long time, you can set them in water while you're finishing a project, but you shouldn't leave them there. You should wash them right away.
Milk paint is, if you're milk painting, you want to wash your brush out right away because it will harden up and a lot of times it's not going to come out.
We do have a video on brush care that's pretty good, so check that out.
So this is what this looks like with the cardboard backer on it. And I'm going to trim the edges off so that they're not flopping once we get it on there. It did curl a little because we put the top coat on there. And that's why I put this on the front, because once I push that down and staple it, I think that's going to all go away. We'll leave that one there for a second.
Did you say you did have, oh, you're still decoupaging?
I got to decoupage this
Okay,
one.
I'm going to keep heat gunning
So
this.
if you're ready to paint those, I
Well,
was
no,
gonna staple them on after you got done painting.
Yeah, I just need you to be done with the top coat because I'm going to use the leftovers on this so I can create some resist for my milk paint.
Gotcha.
Because DIY paint is pretty porous. So sometimes if you put a little top coat in between your layers, then you can get some chipping. We'll see what happens.
This is still slightly damp, but on this thin cardboard out in the sun, it's already pretty much dry. The white paint is, the white swan is what we've got on here. And I just painted it because I wanted a brighter backer for this gray sheet transfer. It's monochromatic. Every now and then it looks like it's got like little hints of purple or blue in it, depending on what you're putting it on.
Zeb, can you look at comments? Sorry, I don't have it over here.
Yep.
And then read them.
I'm filtering through.
I was like, I did not specify.
So Shannon Williams said, do we sell items before we paint them? Meaning like, do we sell them without painting them at all or sell them and then paint them? Because we do both.
On Saturday's thrift haul, people buy things without knowing what they're gonna happen. In fact, we had somebody who's like, I really wish that you would have painted that rocking horse pink. She must have made a comment or something on the video, but when there's 1,000 people commenting, literally you miss things. And I was like, shoot, I really wanted to paint that rocking horse pink. So this morning, I woke up at like just before 6 o'clock and I got it all painted pink because it was for her great-granddaughter. I was like, how can I not paint it pink? I got it all painted pink, but then when I distressed it, that gray that we had came through and it looked so good. So it was like not wasted at all as far as like our time painting the gray. And then Zeb you white waxed that, right?
Yes.
And then we're gonna wait a few days to let that wax cure, and then Jean's gonna ship it out for us. So we did wind up getting that done. So that we do paint things before people, you know, we do sell things sometimes ahead of time. I don't always repaint them if people don't like them, but I wanted it pink, so it's really cute now. I should have taken a picture, I did.
It turned out really good.
Maybe I'll snap a pic and share it in community so you guys can see it painted pink.
So Kai's wanting updates on the meeting house. We're buying an old church and we're going to use that as our shop space. It was built in 1894 and has not been a church since the 50s. It's been a residence since the 1950s, and we're buying it from the people that have been living there. And the update goes like this. We're working with the city right now to get it rezoned. And once that's done, then we can start doing the financing. We've got some of the financing, like the pre-qualification stuff in place, but we can't really go further than that until it gets zoned commercial. And then we also get an appraised evaluation on it, which we can't do until it's zoned commercial.
Today I'm figuring out how to do a balance sheet. So pray for me. I hate paperwork, but that's part of life. But yeah, so we're working on the pre-qual. I've been kind of spearheading that because I used to work in finance like a million years ago.
Really, I just sign on. I'm like, Jamie, what's this form? She's like, oh yeah, just sign that.
And Zeb does a lot of the editing, so I usually handle this kind of stuff, even though it's scary for me. And we were actually talking in our business coaching group that we do yesterday, and I'm like, sometimes you have to do things you're not good at, and I think the best thing is just to not pretend that you know what you're doing. So I'm honest with my broker. I'm like, listen, I don't know all this stuff. I've never done an SBA loan. We're a cash only business. So these things where you want to know like accounts receivable, accounts payable, like we don't have that because we just always
as soon as we're invoiced, we pay for it.
And if we need more money to buy something, then we usually will find a way to earn the money and then buy it, because that's just
the only reason we have like any net 30 set up is if a vendor requires that we have that in place.
And we pay for it right
but as
away.
soon as we get invoiced, we still pay it right away. We don't wait for the 30 days to go on.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we're debt free, because we have like a loan on our house, a loan on our cars, you know, things like that. But like we just don't go into debt to buy things for our business. Anyways, I digress. Today, that's what I've got to be working on. So yeah, we're super excited about the SBA loan. And the 27th is when we're meeting with the DRC, I met with the DRC committee. I don't know. I met with some committee virtually. I think the DRC meeting is next, where the city will ask me questions and I have to show up to that in person. And then next month I have the city council meeting. And I've already submitted all my envelopes where they notify all the neighbors that we're doing a zoning change. So we're moving along.
Okay, this is going out in the sun. I think that looks like an oil painting, like a black and white oil painting or a pencil drawing or something, don't you guys?
I do. It's almost an oil painting.
It's shiny, right? I've got a bump in here that I might not be able to get out because of the cardboard, but I think we can work with it.
You know what we should have done, Zeb? We should have salt washed the cardboard, decoupaged over it, and then it would have been a texture of a painting.
Oh, yeah.
Now we'll have to try that another time. All right, so I'm just gonna throw some top coat on here. This is not to seal it. This is simply, and it's gonna make it a little more white too because I have white on my brush and I'm not gonna clean it. This is simply to add a little bit of resist for the milk paint, because if you don't have something for the milk paint to resist against, you don't always get crackle and chip.
It's going to absorb right down into that DIY paint, and sometimes it'll absorb so far and then it'll crack and chip and it'll take it all the way back to your raw piece.
Also okay. All right, I'm gonna just hand this your direction, and if you want to take that heat gun and start doing that over there.
Yes, I will heat gun this
and then
one.
I will do the same thing to this. So I just need to get that top coat mostly dry.
So we had someone the other day comment that watching us heat gun stuff is kind of boring. So we try to have like lively conversation when we're doing the stuff like heat gunning, but we only do these in our live videos. So if you're new to the channel and you're like, oh wow, I just stumbled upon this live video of people painting and heat gunning stuff and watching paint dry, watch the edited videos. We've got thousands of them. And there's no heat gunning in those unless we're purposely trying to make something crackle and chip.
And then it's edited heat gunning.
Yeah, with music.
With epic music.
We'll break out the concert piano and heat gun stuff.
So you could also spray this with a spray can of lacquer if you were outside. Lacquer is not great to breathe in. Not something we can do on a live video, so I'm always looking at ways to create a little resist for my milk paint. You don't understand what I'm saying. The way milk paint works is if something is shiny or oily or anything like that, that's what helps it crack and chip. And if something is porous, it just soaks right in. So like if you milk paint raw wood, or if you milk paint directly over DIY paint, it makes it a little bit hard to get it to chip and crack. I have got it to do it in the past, but that doesn't mean that I get to do it again. So I'm gonna try. Don't get it all the way dry, so just
Not
like
all,
tacky.
just tacky?
Yeah, do I need to repaint that in a few spots?
No.
Okay, just tacky. And then I'll be ready to paint. I'm gonna wash out this brush I used at the beginning. I really like the insider because it gets inside all the details.
All right, I think that's good enough. You want? I'll just go move the heat gun over to the other side.
Yep, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna put a coat of milk paint on here. Not worried about full coverage, but I am trying to get it in like the details. Milk paint is thinner, so it can drip, which
Did your phone
actually
die?
is okay, huh? Oh, it's possible. Odelia, if you're watching this because you're home from school today, because you're home school Wednesday,
Phone
would you
totally
bring me a
died.
phone
So we no
charger?
longer have comments for a minute, guys.
Would you bring me a phone charger?
Here, I'll stand close while I heat gun this and read comments.
So this is just the milk paint that we mixed up earlier.
Leslie
Wow.
never sees those comments. We sometimes, you know, if someone's like real hurtful, or I get a notification on every comment that comes through. I have my phone set up for that. So if we get like rude or mean comments, like I ain't got time for that. I just delete it quick.
And sometimes people just don't understand.
Yeah,
and so
we replied back to that one. That one wasn't
Yeah.
mean or rude. They're just like, why are you just heat gunning stuff?
Yeah, people are nice. I don't mind giving information because I think sometimes we take offense to things, but really it's not that somebody's trying to be rude, they just don't know. But some of them do get deleted.
Yeah.
Not because I can't handle it, but sometimes because you guys are so awesome and love us so much, sometimes they get in a wee bit of trouble with our regulars. So I'll delete it for their safety, if it's really mean.
So I saw someone ask a question about a transfer and little black dress, but I didn't get the whole comment before it disappeared off my screen. So we've got a charger over here. So in just a sec, I'll get back to that. I'm thinking maybe the rest of that question was, do I need to seal it before I put the transfer on? If that was the full question, I would say yes. If you've got porous paint or dust or anything like that, you want to make sure that's really clean, sealed in, or whatever you're doing, because the transfer is basically like a sticker almost, and when you put that on there, if it's dusty or you've got like a porous surface, it's not going to stick very well.
If you let it dry 24 hours and make sure there's no dust, you don't have to necessarily seal it. We never wait that long, and it is easier on a nice, smooth, non-porous surface. That's why we always recommend sealing. Like, it's best practice.
144 Decor, I agree. The heat gun sound is less offensive than some music out there. Some people really blast the music, and some of our videos, our early videos when I was first learning how to edit,
Might have
some blasting music, because you know that's sound is, you know, people are like, oh, you edit video. Well, you also have to become like a sound engineer to a point, and sound is one of the hardest things to edit, and it's so important for your videos. I still struggle with it.
Well, and sometimes the sound just sucks. Like, if you don't get good sound the first
Sometimes
time.
all you can hear is the fridge going in the background, and it's not even that loud, but the mic's picking it up.
Yeah, so sometimes you just work with what you got. All right, this is ready for heat gun. I love the heat gun milk paint because it turns out awesome. Makes it a little easier, and this is a mixture, so I don't know exactly what's gonna happen.
Capes, Cottages, and Colonials is like, I like the heat gun. It makes the video last longer.
I mean, if I was on a newscast doing a live, I'd probably step it out. But that would require an advance planning. All right, I just want to make sure I got full coverage on this.
Yeah, Deanna, the heat gun, is that Diana or Deanna? I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. The heat gun is way better than a sander or like saws or something for sure. It's not.
Occasionally we have those too.
You can still hear us talk over the heat gun.
All right.
I think we're ready for paint on this one, or close to it. It might have a couple
No,
spots.
I'm going to call it. I think we're ready. So I will get going on this one if you heat gun that one. And then, oh, did Odelia leave us her phone?
Yeah, she did.
Does that case change colors? That's not the case color it was on the
This
phone.
is Odelia's case.
No, I know, but I swear it
No,
was
it
lighter.
doesn't. It's light.
Now it's got.
So Denise Shoup just said, applying a transfer directly over chalk paint the next day has worked well for me. Yeah, if you wait a day,
I'm gonna
there's
do
a good
this so that
chance
way you
that-
move, because
if you wait a day, there's a good chance that it's going to stick really well. Your odds are high on that.
the odds are.
The odds of success, I should say, are
We like
high.
to tell you like what the best practice is, because sometimes things don't work and then people think it's the fault of the transfer, and 99.9% of the time it's user error. So we never want to give you information that's not correct. Just give you the best of what we've got. All right. I'm trying to get down in these cracks here. There's a lot of situation happening. We're also going to be adding some metallics to this once we get it pretty well distressed, because most of these frames have some gold in them, like if they were authentic, gilded type frames. So that will help with the authenticity situation. Is it chipping at all?
Not yet, but you got it on here so thick that
It's gonna be a minute.
it's like running off of here.
That's all right. We'll wet distress. Sometimes if it doesn't chip when you dry it, it'll chip when you wet distress it, and then you heat gun the wet distress.
I'm gonna reach under you here. So Robin, we didn't rip these frames. We got these from our friend.
Marlene.
Marlene had them up in Salt Lake area. We went and picked those up while we were up in Bountiful getting some stuff.
Yeah. So they were free, which is good because this is Waste Not Wednesday, so we like to use free things. Or close to it. Not always, not everything's free. I mean,
Tanya says to remind her that she's got a bunch of gorgeous mirrors for you.
Tanya, I need to remind you, is it Tanya Robb?
There's no last name, I'm gonna guess.
Is it Tony?
Yep.
Yeah, probably is. I've got a little bit of chunky milk paint.
Cape's Cottages and Colonials is talking about the detail on the IOD transfers. So some of the new transfers, Josie actually hand painted, and they just made
Not
a transfer
the
out of them.
ones.
I thought the flower one that's like the
No,
Painterly.
it's an old Painterly, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not new.
Well, but it's new format.
I want to make sure you give accurate information.
All right.
So
yes, they are hand painted on a lot of those.
by somebody. Sometimes Josie. Josie did Painterly.
I am getting a little crackle, but I'm also concerned that the foam is not going to hold up as well as I want it to.
It'll be good. Alright, I had a bunch of chunky milk paint down on the bottom because I didn't mix it. You know, I used a fork to mix it, which isn't best practice. And I'm just reconstituting that milk paint so I'm not wasting it.
Carrie, is Farmhouse Finishes the same as Sweet Pickins milk paint? It's same manufacturer, but the Farmhouse Finishes is a little different formula. It's got bond mixed in to help it not chip.
It's a bonding agent. It's not the same bond.
It's to I always say help it not chip. There's no guarantee that the milk paint it's like an old milk paint formula that they're using. There's no guarantee that it's not going to chip some, but it definitely adheres really well and helps it chip less.
So on this coat, since this is the last time I'm going to have paint on the piece before I distress it, I'm really just trying to make sure, not necessarily full coverage, but there's not streaks. Because there's a difference between like chippy and layered and like not enough paint.
Alright, I might have to go set this in the sun. It's not getting dry fast enough uniformly with the heat gun.
That's fine. Well, go ahead and we'll just
so that I can finish putting this on before we gotta go.
Let's wet distress it.
Well, it's not even dry to the point where you can wet distress
No,
it.
I think I can. Like, it's okay if there's a little bit of paint that's still wet, because that's
Okay.
part of the charm.
I'm
And
trying.
then if any of the original...
I'm trying, but you put it on wet.
It's okay. If any of the original frame shows through that I don't want, that's where it's a good spot to get gold on there. It is hard to get a thin coat of paint when you're trying to get it down into details like this, because you have to basically shove it down in holes.
I'm trying to get this top dry so we can show them.
Well, let me see if I can pull the paint out.
I mean, we're getting
No,
there.
it's getting there. This is really good. So,
We're probably only going to finish one in the time we
it's
have.
10:53.
Is that one painted? I'll go throw that out on the grass.
Yeah, go ahead and throw that one out on the grass, and I need a washcloth.
Because I bet you if we put it out on the grass, it'll dry fast enough. Because that, you know, nature, with a little bit of sun and a little bit of breeze, and it dries out quick.
Okay, problem. Somebody moved my washcloth that was in the sink.
Oh.
Probably my mother cleaning up after me. So do we have paper towels anywhere?
Behind the Alexa.
Oh. Trying not to use paper towels as much, but sometimes it is what it is. Okay, so I've got a damp paper towel here, and I'm going to pull back some of this paint and wet distress. Where's that heat gun? I'm going to work in small areas. So I'll hold it up so you can see it.
This one.
Oh, we do have chippy.
This one bowed quite a bit with paint and decoupage on there, but you can see how it's kind of flexible.
So we already have paint chipping on this one. Because water activates milk paint, because you're like, why is she getting that wet? That's why.
Okay, so here's this one. We got it on our board, and look how much bow I've got in there. But that's, you know, that's about as much as it's gonna bow. It shouldn't bow more than that. And like I said, when we staple it on there, it's gonna get real good and flat.
Just need to go in the water because it's top heavy.
Okay.
grab me?
So right back here is a lot.
Can you grab me the sanding pad?
Yes.
We do have some distress happening. So
I'll show you guys the frame close in a minute here so you can see what it's doing.
Alright guys. Yeah, we've got some chipping going on, which is great.
Here, use this side. The other side has some brown color on it.
Okay. So Zeb, you want to bring them in close because there is chippy crackle on the inside, which probably nobody's gonna see. Like,
so what brush were you just using? I think it's the insider is what she was using.
Can you bring them in close like you told them you would?
Oh, I'll bring the frame to them.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna distress it, so I guess I'll distress it first. All right, now you can.
Yeah, it's easier to bring the
show where
frame.
it's chipping right there.
So you
I'm
can.
hoping that keeps up.
There you go. You guys can see that chippy right here.
As it dries, it should do that more, but it's a little bit hard to force it on live TV. But
do you want to sand all that inside though? Because I'm going to show them how to put this on.
Would you grab me a new sander though? Because that doesn't have much truth to it, and it's not going to do much.
Oh yeah. You want just a piece of sandy paper?
Yeah. Occasionally I get drips and stuff, and I will leave it because if you look at old painted stuff, there's always drips on it.
All right.
Okay.
You can just use that with your phone.
I just don't want that to fall into his phone.
Okay, so which one do you want to see, guys? We have the sheep one, because the other one's out drying in the sun. I don't know that it's going to get dry in the next 5 minutes before we've got to take off. Or we've got this one here. We'll do a picture in community of both all the way finished, but which one do you want to see mounted? One on, do you want the grain sack one or the sheep one? The sheep one is almost flattened out just from sitting flat. It's almost there. So if you get this and you don't have if you're just gonna glue it and you don't have a staple gun to use, we did this the other day, a little bit smaller, but we just put some books and stuff on it for about an hour, hour and a half. You wanna make sure it's dry so it doesn't stick to your books. But that flattened it right out and it was fine. It didn't go back. Okay, it looks like everyone wants to see this one.
Which one?
The sheep one.
All right, you want to cut the edges off of that?
Well, I'm going to do it once I get it stapled on.
Oh, okay, that's smart. All right, let me finish sanding.
Oh, we got two grain sacks.
Well, I think we can probably do both.
Maybe. I'll go see if that one's drying good.
So I can heat gun that while you're working on this, and then I will neatly do the gold after it's already in place. That's just more of like an accent. But
Let me go check that one real quick.
A lot of the sanding is done. Milk paint just chips off differently, and as this continues to dry, we will get more chip on this. And so people ask me why I like to mix milk paint and DIY paint, and that's why. I also like multiple textures and mediums when I'm trying to make something look old. Because if something was painted over the course of time, that is what it would look like. It would not be all one kind of paint. And you can't get the chippy layered texture unless you're willing to play a little bit. This looks good. I like it. All right, let me heat gun this real quick. Oh, Debbie's calling me. Does she not know that we are live? I want to make sure it's all the way dry before you start putting that in here. And we promised to bring you close so you can see all the layers and texture. I guess I should put this around because it's better up close. Oh, look, we are getting chipping on the side. This is very, very exciting. Hold on.
So the other one might be dry enough that I can at least hold it up and show you guys what it's gonna look like.
See how it's chipping off there?
We got quite a few grain sack votes, but I think we still have more for sheep. I just counted through them, and there's more for sheep, I think. So.
There we go. You were wondering why so many coats of paint. That's why. Because this. See how it's like all layered and textured, and then over here it's starting to chip off, revealing the coats underneath. Like you got to do that if you want it to look like an old frame. All right, I'm gonna give this to Zeb. It is yours. It is mostly dry. So move this out of the way. And then that will be ready for, let's see.
Okay, so we've just got construction adhesive. I'm just gonna put some in the corners and right here in the middle, just to kind of help it a little bit. But once we commit, that construction adhesive is gonna be on there, so I gotta really make sure when I put it down that it's right where I want it. Okay, a couple of beads there. She wants her phone back. I think is gonna be what it is. Okay, so these are just 1/2" staples.
I can't put it.
This goes with. You can't separate it. Well, if you volunteer your phone, it's gonna get paint on it.
I'm putting a bunch in here.
It's that paint that pays for your phone bill. So be happy about it.
Oh, I'm out. That's why I brought more staples. Bunch of sawdust up in there.
How did that happen? Weird. How do we have sawdust? These will get some golden ticket. Then later today I'll do clear wax, and then I'll add dark wax. The dark wax is where I feel like it's really gonna make all the detail pop. I've been using dark and black wax more recently.
I was worried about that.
What?
These staples aren't going through very far.
Do you need to use like a paint?
Hang on. I'm gonna have to flatten it out is what I'm gonna have to do. They'll hold it good with the glue once the glue dries.
But you could probably also put a screw in there.
Oh yeah.
A little screw.
Yeah.
I would do that.
But I don't know if I have time to go find a little screw right now. So we're gonna use the other one because it's flat. So all you grain sack people that wanted to see the grain sack, it's flat. So you get to see it. See how this one's nice and flat from sitting? All right, I still got enough glue on there, looks like. Oh yeah, this is a lot easier to staple. And you can use a 5/8 staple too. I think this gun will do up to 5/8. That might work better.
A pneumatic gun would have also helped.
I don't know if that would
A
have.
little bit more power.
I don't know if that would have worked out in the foam though.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe too much power.
Yeah. Right, so note to self, flatten your board beforehand. Oop. There we go. My gun's having a malfunction. It's worn out. We've used it a lot.
There's not a lot of tools that don't get hard used around here. I've got some chipping on
Is it
here.
jammed?
What?
Is it jammed?
Did you jam the gun?
Oh.
Do you remember to glue it before you started stapling?
I already had glue on there.
Oh, okay. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna sand this a little bit.
So I think it's all the sawdust. That's
Well,
up in there.
sawdust will do that to a tool. Okay. We'll use this to blow off the dust. We've got some chipping and cracking going on, so I wanted to bring this up close and personal.
Well, that might be all she wrote. I might have to find other means.
Oh no!
What?
Should have cut off that paper.
Oh.
Good luck. All right. Can you see right
Got it.
there the chippy layered texture crackle situation happening? That's gonna keep happening as this dries. And if it doesn't do it enough, I'll wait till it dries all the way and wet distress it and do it again. All right, so that's ready for some molded ticket?
Yep.
Okay.
So this is why I waited to put it on, so I could just trim it
You are brilliant.
right along where it needed to be, real nice and easy.
And another pro tip for something like this is you can take and buy duct tape and neatly duct tape this to the back, and that will help hold and create a neat edge on the cardboard.
Oh yeah, you could. I've duct taped mirrors on.
I mean the glue is what's holding it on, the duct tape is reinforcing it, but I used to make bow holders. Yeah, we'll have to do that off camera. I used to make bow holders for my girls, and I would duct tape around the edge of the cardboard.
So if you wanted that to be brighter, like I was saying earlier, you just do white underneath.
Okay, let's
Okay, get some gold on
put
there.
on the gold.
And this is flattening out, so maybe we'll get to it.
Okay.
I just
And this-
laid it here.
We will sand this as well, where it's decoupaged, and probably put some white wax and age it. I don't know how much these are gonna be until they're all the way finished, so. We'll have them tomorrow on our Thursday video. Can you open that?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this in the middle needs white wax to blend it to the frame, so I will probably wind up doing that over the top of this, and it'll meld the two together a little bit better. So this is just bringing some metallic to the piece. I could have painted it gold underneath and then brought it back, but sometimes it's easier to just put the gold on top. So this is just to add detail to it.
Do you want to hand me your phone so I can read comments while I'm holding this here? Everyone that was for grain sack is like, yay, the grain sack.
Oh, good. I'm glad we could do something right today. Will that heat gun reach over here? I wanted to dry this real quick and show them some clear wax and dark wax on it. If you were at home doing this, just let each layer dry. You'll have better results, but the heat gun actually is great to add chip and crackle, so you still may want to heat gun it even if you're at home. Oops, you want to move that down just a little bit? So
yeah.
There we go.
Judy, which one did you think I was going to paint? Judy Jennings, the sheep one? I'm leaving that black and white, I think.
Yeah, that'll be black and
I
white.
mean, you could go in and color that. That would be fun.
So I'm just kind of dry brushing on the gold and hitting the detailed areas. If you're doing something like this and you're like, oh, I don't really like that there, I have been known to like just paint over it and just keep going, because faux finishes are kind of that way. You just keep layering on the look until you get what you want, and then sometimes you have to walk away, come back. Oh look, we're getting some crackle there. But the most important thing is try not to be perfect and even, because then it won't look natural.
So Anna Ray asked a question. I painted a hutch light gray and it was
You can put it up now.
it was dark green previously. I forgot about it and wanted to distress it, and I can see the green and really don't like it. What would you guys do to make it work?
Just take a little artist brush and paint those areas maybe, or use a white wax to lighten the green. The problem is, like, unless you can stop the sandpaper at that level, it's always going to get back to the green. Sometimes what you can do is paint those areas, let it dry, seal it, paint it with a different color that you don't mind peeking through, let that dry, then seal that, then paint your final color, and instead of using an orbital sander, use wet distress, because wet distress will generally only take you to the last layer that has sealer on it, because it will not permeate the sealer, like it won't go through that sealer. But the important thing is that you wait in between each thing for it to dry completely, and then you should be able to not see the green. So hopefully that makes sense, but most importantly, you've got to be able to not get to the green with orbital sandpaper. So you've got to paint it, seal it, paint it again, wet distress it, and anyways, there you go. Think of sealer as like a barrier, almost like a fire barrier when you're building the house. It'll help, the fire stops at the barrier, the distress stops at the barrier as long as you wet distress. So yeah, this golden ticket is awesome. It's translucent, not super thick, which is what I really love about it for applications like this, because it's just a kind of a hint, and with the aqua, it's definitely very, very French. I will come back later and also do the outsides of that, but I wanted to show you white waxing this because I feel like this and this, they don't blend. So white wax is gonna help mix them together. I'm sanding it so that way anywhere that there's wrinkles, you get like a crackle look to it. And these 220 sanding pads, we don't sell them, I get them on Amazon, are soft so they don't rip the paper if it's dry. They just sand it smooth. All right, let me grab white wax.
Okay, you guys.
You got me white wax, didn't you?
It was out here.
Okay, I didn't need a wax brush.
I'm gonna try and drill and screw this on.
That's right here. Okay, so earlier somebody was asking, like, how do you mix stuff that doesn't go together? Color. So like this is really fancy, this is not as fancy, and the brown is a little bit harsh against this white, so I'm gonna white wax it to blend it. White wax. Oops, that was warm. The other thing this white wax is gonna do is everywhere there's a beautiful crack in my decoupage, it's gonna sit down into that and it's gonna really, really bring it forward. I might do the same technique to the other one, even though that black and white won't look so like harsh against that other color. Because this has a decoupage medium over the paper, this is not going to be this white. You will still get to see it. So don't freak out. Don't worry. I'm going to fix it.
The screws are working.
Oh, good. You might have to screw this one too then. I do have good ideas every now and then. All right, so it's pretty equal on here. I'm going to show you white wax.
Are you gonna brush that back a little?
Oh yeah, you can do it like that. I just want to show them what it looked like. So I'm just wiping back the wax so you don't see any brush strokes. It's just going to give a really soft edge to my decoupage paper and really help blend the frame with the decoupage paper, because the frame has a lot of white in it.
So this cardboard is tougher than you guys might think, unless you have to like put something in and out and take it apart a bunch. Like the screws on here are gonna hold this great.
All right, let me bring this in close to you. I want you to remember.
That needs more. That needs some screws too. Looks like.
Yeah, it does. I want you to remember that we still have to screw it in, and I still have to add the dark wax to it, to the frame. But don't you think that that white wax now makes it blend a little better, a little less brown? And then here's a close-up of the gold and the layered, and you could probably see the chippy on the inside of the frame where it chipped. This part here will keep happening as this dries, And that's gonna make it look really old world. Ooh, I like that one too. Who needs an oil painting? Not me. I just need decoupage paper and cardboard. And apparently injected foam. All right, now I want to
Here,
sand that
let me
one.
borrow that one so I can put some
Okay,
screws
swap.
in it.
You know, I never quite know how things are going to turn out because I only come up with ideas like 30 minutes before we go live, but I'm pretty happy with this.
Sometimes we have things pre-planned out, and sometimes it's like, oh, I just didn't have any great ideas that I loved, and so stuff like this happens.
All right, this is good the way that it is, but I'm going to add some white wax to it too just to age it. And also to really help bring out all the wrinkles in my decoupage. Because old artwork, especially if it's like on old, whatever that paper is that they painted on, it usually wrinkles and cracks over time.
So the staples were working, but in this foam, if you've got a foam frame, the screws are working much better. The foam was not holding the staples very well.
So in projects like this, the value is not really in the items that we use, but in the way that we execute them. And I love that if you have the right products, you can create really great stuff from what would have been junk. I also love that when I'm designing my decoupage paper, that I consider the overall design and how it would look used in one piece and not just in sections, because it can be used to make art pretty easily. I will probably still come back through and duct tape the back of that just so it's a little neater. Don't have any sharp edges. There we go.
Here, scoot yours over so I can get mine in.
We got it both on camera?
All right, we're both on.
All right.
Imagine this one with some gold around it and some distressing.
Yeah, and we're gonna do some dark wax. So these turned out awesome. We'll get these finished. I'll get pictures put up on social media, and then we'll get them listed so that way tomorrow when we do our live at 10 a.m. for the shopping network, they'll be up there.
All right, so inexpensive foam frames. You can often find things like this down at the thrift store. They might have another picture in them that's maybe dated or like, you know, hotel art, but pretty easy. The decoupage paper starts out around $6.
I think it's like
So-
$6.95, I can't remember, but there you go.
Somewhere in there.
Paint products at JamiRayVintage.com. You'll be able to buy the finished pieces once they're done at JRVHome.com. That's our home decor website. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more.
DIY.
Thanks for sticking around, especially those of you that have been sitting here for the entire hour waiting for dun, 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 the reveal. Love you guys.
Catch you guys later.